What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ham House Sports. Today is the pre-Christmas update. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's Big Matt and Little Matt, and today we are here to update you on some things that's going on in Ham House Sports.
This apple fell right underneath the tree, friends,
Yep.
and that's what's fun about it. Well, we'll try to be brief today. We really just wanted to make a quick video to share some insights, some things we've learned after about 5 months in the sports car world.
That's crazy.
I know.
That's crazy. It's been
There's a
5
lot of
months.
people who know a lot more than we do, but there's also not a ton of readily available information out there. So this is more of an educational video for those who want to get into the hobby or maybe get better in the hobby.
Yep.
And so there's going to be kind of 5 key points when it comes to sports trading cards that we would advise you from our experience. And we say this because we've made some good decisions.
Yep.
We've made some bad decisions, and we just want to share them with you guys. First of all, kind of overarching is, listen, it's a hobby, right? Do what you want to do, and no one can tell you how to do it. You do whatever it is you want to do. What we're sharing is what we've learned to kind of maximize your time as well as the profitability and how you're able to grow your collection.
Yep.
With not having to spend a ton of money on it. If that's something that's interesting to you, maybe the video will be helpful. So Matthew, what would you say is the first thing that you had to learn about the hobby?
The first thing I had to learn were brands. So Panini is the company, but Panini produces all the sports cards, and they produce many different brands of sports cards.
Right.
There's dozens of brands, right? But there's
And they kind of make
yeah.
the brands catered to a high-end market, a mid-end market, and a low-end market.
Yeah. So here's an example. So these are 2 cards that are the brands are in the high-end market. So this card is Javonte Williams Flawless RPA number 25, and this is a Jalen Waddle True RPA from National Treasures. Those are some of the high-end products.
Now, here's the kicker with those. Those are both position players, or skill players. You've got a running back and a receiver. You can generally get running backs and receivers for a lot lower cost.
A lot lower.
But they're a lot more volatile. Quarterbacks are kind of the key when it comes to football. And then, of course, basketball, all of the position players
Yep.
tend to have. Now, baseball is different, too. So in baseball,
Pitchers
you have...
are like your running backs
Yeah,
because they can get hurt more.
Yeah, you have position players, which is the field players, and then you have your pitcher. Pitchers can get drafted early, pitchers can get paid a lot, but when it comes to sports cards, you traditionally don't see the value retained in a pitcher like you do in a position player. And in football, you generally see the value retained in a quarterback over running back specifically, or like a receiver. And then even then, with the receivers, there's probably only 5 to 10 that are sought after, and everybody else falls off from there.
Yeah.
So brand is kind of the number one key. Know your brand. You've got National Treasures. You've got Flawless.
Here's
Yep.
some examples of some mid-end.
Mid-end brands
This
are going to
is,
be... just go ahead.
This is Prism. That's a mid-end brand, but it's a great brand.
Yep.
This is Select. It's still a great brand, but it's one of the mid-end brands. And then this is Optic. This is a 2 rated rookie. So Donruss, for all the old people that are like my dad, the Donruss.
Old people. Donruss makes a
Makes
paper
Optic.
card, and they make an Optic card, which is a thicker card, a shinier card. And so Prism, Select, and Optic are going to be...
Mosaic.
And Mosaic are going to be your key cards for your basketball and your football players. Okay,
They don't make tops anymore, but
they
tops are cool.
yeah. Well, tops doesn't go into the basketball sport.
There's a Mosaic.
There's a Mosaic. That's a Mosaic 2 there.
That's my favorite card in the world.
Now
We pulled
here's a
it.
kicker. This is an old school. This is a Topps basketball card.
They didn't make tops since 2010.
Yeah. So this is Steph Curry's rookie card, and that's a Topps card. But now you're going to look at the other brands, right? You're going to be looking at, Select. You're going to be looking at Prism. You're going to be looking at Optic for
Mosaic.
basketball and football.
So then there's the low end.
Yeah,
right?
and that's going to be
Elite, Score, Chronicles, any kind of draft picks cards. If it was me, stay away from draft picks cards.
Yeah, draft picks cards are basically in their college uniform, not
and
their
they don't hold as
professional.
much value. Yep.
Right. So
But,
if
yeah.
you like your college, collect them. One of the biggest collectors online, Card Collector 2, is a crazy Ohio State fan, and he collects all Ohio State stuff. And good on him. That's what he wants to do. In general, though, you're going to have more value retained and value opportunity in their professional uniform. So again, reset everything, know your brands, know within the brands kind of the values of those, and then within the values on those brands, know the position player you're going after. Of course, everybody's going after the quarterbacks. Everybody's going after the rookies. That drives the value of those cards up. And you have to be careful because you can overpay in an inflated market and then the cards start to come down. That's why you have to know when to buy the cards. For example, right now they are breaking first Bowman. Now Bowman
came out yesterday.
Bowman and Topps are still the front runner in baseball product. So this is a hot card right now. That is a Jackson Holiday, the number one overall pick, first Bowman refractor. Now, we bought into a break and got that card just the other day. Not the best thing to do, but it's a good way to do it without having to go buy a ridiculously expensive box. So we got out of that cheaper than buying a box that we would bought at the store.
Like $600, yeah.
Yeah. But, we got it cheaper, but that card's still not quite worth what we bought into the break for because we didn't hit anything else with it.
But if we hit like an autograph number, your hopes of buying into a break is so you hit a really fancy or nice card.
Yeah, so if we'd hit the auto of that, that would have been, kind of
$2,000, yeah.
I mean, it could have been upwards of a couple grand. So, reset, know your brands, know your players, know the quality of the brand, within the sport that you're doing, and you've just got to get used to it. But if you go and buy like Rose Gold or you go buy Chronicles, it's going to be really hard to get out of those cards unless you're just dealing with people that like to trade and sell lower end product.
Yep.
The benefit is to you, it's a lot cheaper to get into the hobby that way rather than having to go and buy a high-end Flawless box or a high-end Prism box or, whatever.
Another thing what we like to do, we like to buy based on season. So, like, right now, soccer's very hot. Mm-hmm. So these cards are a lot more higher than they were in the middle of 2020 because the World Cup. Like, we have another one of those cards that sold within 2 minutes, and Mbappe scored his two goals.
When Mbappe scored in the World Cup, that card sold immediately. So know when to buy cards and when to sell cards, meaning it's best to sell cards during the season and buy them out of season. Yep. Now, sometimes you don't have the luxury, so if you're just getting into the market and you wanted to pick up a couple of players before the playoffs, guess what? You probably could still pick up, like, let's say a Joe Burrow. So this is a Joe Burrow, red, white, and blue, numbered to, or just a red, white, and blue, PSA 9. Now, if the Bengals make the playoffs and maybe win a couple games in the playoffs, this card's definitely going to see some action. That card would be sought after, and it would probably sell in the playoffs. Well, if the Bengals don't make the playoffs or they lose out in the first round, automatically you're going to see his cards probably start to stall a little bit. So make sure you know the players and the teams and the sports that you're getting into. That's why we have picked our niche, and we focus on baseball, basketball, and football, and then on key players and teams within those sports instead of being all things to all people.
Yep.
What's up?
Nothing.
You're a little distracted? Okay.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that being said, know your brands, know your sports, your players, and your niche. And the other thing I would tell you, 2 other quick tips, is find your community. We've seen a lot of growth in some Instagram community on our YouTube channel here. People are starting to reach out. People want to do some trades. There's some really neat stuff.
Trades are how we get most of
and trades are super cool. So these are 3. We really like Tua Tagovailoa. These are 3 Gem Mint 10 Tua Tagovailoa cards.
We traded for Javonte Williams.
We traded for Javonte Williams. Guy really wanted Javonte. We really wanted Tua.
He was super easy to deal with. A good deal with him.
Yep. It worked out great.
Now we know we can make a deal with him now.
Yep.
Because, like, there's some people, like, we've been scammed before. We almost got scammed the other day. So now we know that guy's rock solid, and we can make a deal with him.
When you're doing trade deals, keep your eye out for this. People who cannot coin a card. That means they can't put a time and date stamp on like a separate sheet of paper that goes in with the card on it. Make sure if you're buying or selling, use PayPal Goods and Services. Don't do friends and family. Don't do Venmo unless you really know the person, because if something goes wrong, there's no protection for you as the buyer. Yep. The other thing that I would tell you is just be cautious. If they're giving the card up at a really good deal and it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. The last thing we would say is learn to be patient. Like right now, literally right now, there are wax breaks going on, and our twins are sitting over here on the couch and they're watching wax breaks. So people are opening these Bowman Chrome, and
Here,
they're
Wyatt,
like,
come here.
they're like raffling
so-
off a spot,
and
and so they're watching it right here, and they're like raffling off a spot, and these guys want to buy into wax breaks. And that's fun, and it's fine.
It's
not
addicting.
It's addicting. But I'm telling them, hey guys, no, wait. There's more opportunity. Slow down. Be patient. So again, know that this is very real for us. Like there's a lot of stuff going on. Just make sure that you're patient and that you wait, because when you are, good things happen. And
Patience is a virtue.
yeah.
So what happens? So basically, how wax breaks work is how somebody's opening a box in front of you, and you can bid on certain teams or do a randomizer. I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking at the computer. That is my worst saying. I'm so bad at that. But a wax break's how they work. Like you buy a team or you bid on a team, and you get all the cards from that team. So Jackson Holiday plays for the Orioles, so the Orioles are going for $60, while the Miami Marlins are going for like $3.
Yeah. So you've got to, when you're buying into a break, you got to know the right teams, and everybody's going after the high-end players. And so you just have to be mindful and smart when you do this. Yeah. And you can hit a home run, but you can also strike out a bunch. It costs yourself a lot of money. So again, the point being is anybody wants to talk more about this or learn more,
message us.
Please message, reach out, whatever. But again, we tell you, find your niche, know the brands, know the players. Looking for low parallel, low numbered, high graded stuff. That's what drives the value on these cards.
PSA 10s.
But ultimately, if you're in this for the money, you're probably going to get upset at some point,
and
because
you're not going to have as much fun.
You have to have it as a hobby. You got to have cards you like, players you love. You have to be in it for the hobby of it as well. And if you're doing that, you can have a great hobby, great relationships. You can learn from people, and it's a lot of fun. So, all right, we ready to wrap it up?
Merry Christmas. That's all I'm going to say. You filthy animal, and have a happy New Year.
All right, we'll be back soon.
We did a trade for Tua for a Ham House Sports collective president. I don't know what it is. The twins don't know what it is, but Dad does. So on Christmas Day,
stay tuned for that video.
We'll update you.
It's gonna be
Christmas.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Peace.
Right, peace.